Right, good morning, everyone. Let's start again with our reading of the Ice Monster. So remember that they managed to escape on the on HMS Victory with Wooly riding at the front like this, and they were on the ship and they were heading towards the North Pole to try and take Wooly back to where she belonged. And they were sailing at night, and Elsie tucked up with Wooly on the deck of the ship, curled up, having a good night's sleep. And at the end of the chapter, it said, Elsie felt that she was home. Looking up, she could see the diamond dust of the stars in the sky. Everything seemed so perfect. It couldn't last, and it didn't. So let's find out what happens. Right, chapter 60, Ships Ahoy. Ships ahoy! Came the cry one morning from the crow's nest of the Victory. All the soldiers scrambled to the stern of the ship. There they jostled, eager to glimpse what their comrade at the top of the mast had seen. The sound of footsteps had woken up Elsie and Wooly too, and they joined the line of pensioners. The Admiral took out his telescopes. A fleet of metal steamships stretched out across the horizon. How many, Admiral? Asked one of the sailors. A dozen, I would say. Can we outrun them? Asked Elsie. We can darn well try. Hurrah! Shouted the men. Hurrah! Joined in Wooly. The Admiral called out his orders to make this old ship go as fast as she possibly could. HMS Victory felt as if it were taking flight as it soared across the sea. Yet even at full speed, it was no match for the modern steamships. They're gaining on us, yelled Elsie. We're going at full speed, replied the Admiral. Prepare the cannons. With respect, Admiral, sir, piped up Titch, we can't fire on our fellow countrymen. No, you've got a point there, mused the Admiral. We'll be hanged as traitors. There must be something we can do, exclaimed Elsie. How many barrels of gunpowder have we got? Dotty counted them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 9, 3, 7, 6. A lot. Counting was not Dotty's strong point. A lot. Thank you, Dotty. I can count a dozen barrels. What if we rolled them out to sea? That's the most ridiculous idea I've ever heard, child. What a waste of jolly good gunpowder, replied the Admiral. I haven't finished yet. Ooh, cooed the pensioners. I will have no oohing on my ship, thundered the Admiral. Do you understand me? Once you let sailors all ooh at one another, heaven knows where it will lead. The old men nodded, still smirking at their own naughtiness. Brrr, called out Wooly. And less of your cheek, please, said the Admiral to the Mammoth. What I was going to say, continued Elsie, is that we should roll out the barrels one by one, then we wait until the ships close in, then whoever is the best shot takes one of those muskets and shoots them. Shooting your own gunpowder? Thundered the Admiral. I've never heard such poppycock. With respect, sir, began Titch timidly, I think the girl is onto something. It will create a smoke screen. A smoke screen? Spluttered the Admiral. Yes, then we will have a chance of losing the ships. Right, men, and ladies, change tack, boomed the old sailor. When I give the order, now, I want you to roll a barrel into the sea. Titch? Yes, Admiral. Do you know your way around a musket? Well, the thing is, he hesitated. The man was nervous. Only having the one medal, which was for service, the one that all soldiers received, he had never thought of himself as a hero. The last thing Titch wanted to do was let everyone down. Chapter 61. Open fire. Good, replied the Admiral. As usual, he hadn't been listening. Titch, when I give the order, fire, I want you to open fire on a barrel. Poor Titch was shaking with nerves. It was clear he didn't want to be put under all this pressure. One by one, the barrels were rolled into the sea. Roll, plop, roll, plop. roll, plop, roll, plop. Soon there were a dozen barrels of gunpowder bobbing around in the water as the British naval fleet approached. "Titch, are you ready?" asked the Admiral. The poor private was struggling, trying to ram the gunpowder down the antique musket. "One moment, sir." Dotty tried to help by passing him the shot. "I can do it," he snapped. "Titch!" called out the Admiral. "Ready, sir." Titch raised the musket. "Fire!" The private took a deep breath. This was his moment to prove them all wrong, to prove that he could be a hero after all. Trembling, he did something he had never done before in all his years as a soldier. He pulled the trigger. Click. Nothing happened. "Sorry, sir, I'm half cocked." "Fire!" Bang! The force of the blast flew Titch off his aim. Instead of the shot firing across the sea towards the barrel, it skimmed straight over Woolly's head, parting her fur, before blasting a huge hole in one of the HMS Victory's sails. "You ruddy fool!" raged the Admiral. "I'll have you court-martialed for this." "I'm useless," said Titch, bowing his head in defeat. "Give that musket to me, Private," ordered the Admiral. "Let him have another go," pleaded Dotty. "Are we at the fun fair?" asked the Brigadier. "I had my chance and I blew it," Titch wailed in despair. "No, Titch," piped up Elsie. "You can do it. I know you can." She turned to the Admiral. "Please." The Admiral had a soft spot for the girl. "All right then," he huffed, "but there are a dozen barrels and only a dozen cartridges. If he fails, that's it." "No pressure, my love," added Dotty, somewhat unhelpfully. The Admiral let out a long sigh. "Fire at will, Private." Titch loaded the musket and aimed. He took a deep breath, closed his eyes, and fired. Bang! The shot skimmed across the sea. Kaboom! A barrel of the gunpowder exploded. A thick cloud of black smoke appeared. "Hurrah!" shouted the old soldiers on the deck of HMS Victory. "Hurrah!" hooted the Mammoth. "You did it, Titch!" yelled Elsie. "My hero!" added Dotty. "One down, 11 to go," said Titch. "Fire!" ordered the Admiral. Kaboom! And another. Kaboom! Another. Kaboom! 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 3 in a row. Kaboom! Bullseye! Open fire! Kaboom! Yes! Kaboom! On a roll now. Kaboom! Easy! Kaboom! Final one. Kaboom! Against all odds, Titch had hit every single barrel. Now there was a huge curtain of black smoke stretching out across the sea. "Hurrah!" shouted the soldiers. "Hurrah!" shouted Woolly. Chapter 62. Down but not out. "Silence!" ordered the Admiral. "Let's listen for their ships." Everyone on board fell silent. Far off, they could hear the sound of horns hooting and engines grinding. There was even the sound of metal hitting metal as ships collided. Bash! Bang! Wallop! "Oops!" said the Admiral. "We got him!" exclaimed Dotty. "Hurr!" shouted Woolly, punching her trunk in the air in triumph. "They're the British naval fleet," began the Admiral. "The best in the world. They're down, but they're not out. The smoke will lift soon. We must act fast. We need to change course if we're going to lose them. Starboard, ho!" All on board went to work to make the ship dramatically change course to the right. Even the Mammoth was getting the hang of sailing now. Using her trunk, she grabbed hold of the wheel, spinning it hard to the right. The ship leaned the other way so fast that the old soldiers tumbled over. Woolly fell on top of the Admiral. "Dumph! Oof!" cried the Admiral. "Get this giant furball off me!" Elsie smirked as she and all available hands on deck prized the Mammoth off their leader. "Thank goodness I'm not planning on having any more children," muttered the Admiral as he clambered to his foot. He limped over to the stern of the ship. Next, he took out his telescope and studied the sea behind them. The curtain of smoke was slowly lifting. Elsie sidled up to him and Wooly followed. The mammoth was intrigued. She plucked the telescope out of his hands with her trunk. Swipe! Get off that! He snapped before snatching it back. He then turned to Elsie. Please try and control your pet mammoth. I'll try, sir, she replied with a grin. I can't see any ships, he said. I think we've done it. My goodness, I think we've done it. Just then, Elsie spotted a shape poking out of the curtain of smoke. There, she shouted. The Admiral put the telescope back up to his eye. Blast! One of them has got through. We can't give up, Admiral, said the girl. Never. Now listen up, men. And woman, of course, girl, began the Admiral. Added Wooly, not wanting to be left out. Yes, apologies, replied the Admiral, rolling his eyes. And listen up, Mammoth. One of the ships has got through. Oh no, came a chorus of replies. We have to prepare for the worst. In less than an hour, they will reach us. We must be ready to be boarded. Men and woman, and of course, girl. Wooly reminded him. And who can forget Mammoth? We have one more shot. The gunpowder is gone, but you must arm yourselves with whatever you can lay your hands on. Yes, sir, came a chorus of replies. Good luck, men, and everyone else not contained in that umbrella term. Immediately, the deck of HMS Victory was a hive of activity, as all on board went about arming themselves. There weren't enough cutlasses to go around, so most of the soldiers picked up brooms and mops. Slowly but surely, the British naval ship that was still pursuing them came into focus. She was the mighty HMS Argonaut. And there's a footnote here, it says, named after the crew of Jason's ship, the Argo, in ancient Greek mythology. With 4 huge funnels pumping smoke from its coal engine, the Argonaut was powering through the waves right towards the Victory. With their makeshift weapons in their hands, the old soldiers were ready for the worst. The Admiral approached Elsie. You're a child. I think it's best you go below deck. Are you kidding? Replied the girl, reaching for a long wooden sail batten. I wouldn't miss this for the world. We'll make a sailor of you yet, said the Admiral. He took off his wooden leg and brandished it, ready to do. Chapter 63, Surrender. Surrender! Boomed a voice over the loud hailer from HMS Argonaut as it drew up alongside the Victory. Never! Came a chorus of voices from the HMS Victory. Sorry, I didn't quite catch that. We said never. Did you say never? Yes. Sorry, it's hard to hear. You don't have a loud hailer you could use, do you? No. What was that? We said no. That's a shame. We know. Sorry, what was that? We said we know. Thank you. Now, our orders are to return the ice monster to London. It's the property of Her Majesty the Queen. All the old soldiers looked to Elsie. She told them, Wooly isn't the property of anyone. Oh, no, it's not, began the chorus from HMS Victory. Oh, yes, it is, came the voices back. Oh, no, it's not. Oh, yes, it is. Are we at the pantomime? Asked the Brigadier. If you return the creature to us, then there is no need for us to open fire. Do you surrender? No. I'm pretty sure that was a no. Yes. Sorry, yes. Yes, that was a no, or yes, because it was a yes. It was a no. Thank you. Our pleasure. Thank you. Not at all. Then prepare for battle. Cool, that took them long enough, muttered Dotty. HMS Argonaut inched closer to HMS Victory. The young sailors looked across at the old sailors. The two groups nodded at each other politely. They were all British, after all. Finally, the captain of HMS Argonaut gave the order. Attack! Chapter 64, A Pool of Blood. The young sailors leaped from one ship to another with ease. They landed on the deck of the Victory, brandishing their rifles. "Charge!" shouted the admiral as he led his pensioners into battle. The old soldiers were brave and attacked the young soldiers with their cutlasses, mops, and brooms. Clunk, clink, clank. They went straight for the rifles, trying to force them to the floor. Meanwhile, Dotty had found an old tin bucket and was bashing the young sailors over the head with it. Bish, bash, bosh! Many of them were knocked out by the force of her blows. Ouch! Thud. Oof! Thud. Ah! Thud. Meanwhile, Elsie attacked the invaders by whacking them on the bottoms with her sail baton. Thwack! 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 A smile spread across her face. This was fun. Woolly joined in too. Hurrah! With her tusks, the mammoth scooped up a sailor before dropping him into the sea. No! Plop! As Elsie battled on, out of the corner of her eye, she could see a cannon of the HMS Argonaut swivelling round. Now it was pointing straight towards the mammoth. The captain gave the order. "Fire at will!" "No!" screamed Elsie as she put her hands up into the air to shield her friend. The gunner fired, and a huge net shot across the decks of the Victory, trapping the mammoth in its web. "Oh!" roared Woolly. The poor thing was distressed and began bucking and thrashing around. The more she did so, the more tangled she became. "Woolly! Woolly!" cried the girl, trying to calm the creature down, to no avail. The mammoth lurched across the deck, bashing into people and things. She swung around and knocked a sailor to the floor. Ah! Another was trodden on by a giant prehistoric foot. Poof! Ouch! A third sailor became entangled in the net and was dragged across the deck. Help! Still clutching his rifle, the sailor's finger snagged on the trigger. A shot rang out. Bang! All was quiet and still on board the Victory. Woolly was quiet and still too. She stopped thrashing around and stood motionless for a moment before she keeled over and landed with a deafening thud. A pool of blood spread across the deck. "Woolly! No!" screamed Elsie. Chapter 65. Hard Rain. The old soldiers and the young sailors all worked together to untangle the mammoth from the net. As soon as the captain of HMS Argonaut had hauled 2 of his sailors out of the North Sea, he stepped on board the HMS Victory to help. "I'm so sorry this happened," said the captain. Elsie put her hands over the wound in Woolly's chest to stop the flow of blood. "Why did you shoot her?" she cried. "Why?" There was no answer. "Somebody do something," she begged. Dotty put her ear to the animal's mouth. "I can't hear her breathing, Elsie. I'm so sorry. I know you loved her and she loved you, but this is the end of the story." "No!" yelled Elsie. Boom! Thunder rolled across the sea. Ahead, black clouds were swirling. A storm was coming. "Sail into the storm," ordered Elsie. The admiral looked aghast. "No, it would be the end of us all. It's the only way we can save her." "By sailing into a storm?" demanded the admiral. "We used lightning to restart her heart before. Maybe we can do it again." Dotty rushed over to where Elsie was trying to stop the flow of blood. "Let me take over," she said. The lady pushed the end of the mop right into the wound to stop the flow of blood, and it slowed down. "We can tow you into the storm," offered the captain of the Argonaut. "No," replied the admiral. "It's too dangerous. You young sailors have got your whole lives ahead of you." He turned to the pensioners. "Men, are you all with me?" "Yes, sir," came the reply. "Good luck," said the captain, and he and the admiral saluted each other. "We will make sure Queen Victoria is told all about your bravery." The captain led his men back on board the Argonaut as the admiral called out his orders. "Set course for the storm." The men went to work, and soon HMS Victory was flying into the darkness ahead. Elsie, began Dotty, do you know what you're doing? We don't have a balloon or a metal wire or anything. I know, the girl choked, fighting back a river of tears, but there must be a way. Her eyes searched the deck of the Victory. At the bow, she spotted something. See that metal chain, Titch? Right, let's leave it there for today. Are they going to be able to save Wooly? Wow, how exciting. Right, hope you guys are all okay. Remember, get in touch with us if you need anything. We can print you work packs that you can collect from school. Or if there's anything else that you need, please do let us know. And I'll see you back here, same time tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Okay, guys, take care. Bye.